Hey guys, it's the NIGHTCLUB and welcome to this brand new episode of this Let's Build. So today I'm continuing working on the nightclub, and in the first part of the video I'm just finishing the exterior at the back of it, but then I'm working on the interior, which I'm very excited about because this is, in my opinion, definitely the best interior that I've done on a commercial build so far in The Sims 4, and I must admit I've not done very many commercial builds. I've done a couple of restaurants, and probably, what else did I do? Like a wellness center at some point, a swimming pool. Okay, I must admit I did quite a few of them, but in my opinion this one is just really cool. I finished this last, of course. I first did the exterior and then I worked on the interior, so that might be the reason as well that I'm so excited about it. But yeah, I'm just very stoked about the way it turned out to look like. I've got a couple of, it just really felt like sort of a challenge to make the layout work, but for some reason it did, even though like the shape of this build is of course very challenging, because I mean you can't actually walk from the left to the right side on the first level because there's water in between, so you've got to get up to the second level and then you can go to the other level, which is sort of strange, and still I've not actually fixed that problem because you've still got to do it. But yeah, it just worked out sort of cool in my opinion, or it just worked out well. Here I'm adding some billboards on top of the roof just because I felt, you know, that's sort of realistic. It might not be the most beautiful thing, but in the end a commercial build isn't meant to be beautiful, it's meant to be realistic in my opinion. So therefore I added some industrial stuff on top of this roof, which just made it look a little bit more realistic, and this is definitely what you'd see in real life as well, even though I don't exactly know what those billboards would function for, because I mean only people from a plane would see them, because the building is so high up that you can't actually see the billboards from like all the way down on like the floor or the road, I mean. And yeah, furthermore no one will see it, but that doesn't matter. It's The Sims, you know, the marketing people don't have to make money, you just get to add items to make it look realistic and to make it look cool, but that's it, so don't worry about it. Here I'm adding another bar, which for some reason I never come up, I didn't have the intention to actually add a bar there, but then I added this and I was like, okay, that looks really cool under that, like under those shutter parts, and it's so realistic because of the shutters which they added in City Living, which are like by far my favorite items from City Living. I literally can't do any build without them anymore, but yeah, I'm just very happy with those items. And here I'm starting with the interior. So like I said, just a couple of minutes of exterior before we go to the interior. So I was doubting what floor should I use, but in the end I believe I went for the black floor, which you just saw, because it's industrial, but not the industrial floor that I use all the time, because I noticed that sometimes I personally use very many items, just way too much, and from other people whose videos I watch, I know that it's just not very nice to see people use the same items all the time. So I decided to vary it a bit, because I know that that's something which I don't do too often. I also noticed that very many people like the bohemian or the boho interior apartment, which I did, and yeah, that was just really cool to notice that you, my viewers, actually like to see me building other types of buildings as well. That's just pretty cool, and I'm happy to see that, and I will try to create other types of apartments and like houses in general as well. So here I added the stairs, and I was like, okay, this is probably the only solution. So I added the elevator, which just terms of agreement, I guess, sort of, because you can't actually use it. I can't change anything about that. I've not created the game. I would have loved to be able to use like elevators as well, because it would have saved up a lot of space, and it would also be a little bit more realistic maybe to have some more elevators in here. But you can only add one elevator in a building, so on a penthouse I mean. And that's basically it, and they don't actually function. You've just got to add them, because otherwise you can't even save the building. So here it started with some kind of problem, because I wanted to have some kind of entrance bar, or just a place where people who just enter the building, or just enter the nightclub obviously, where they would sort of sign up to let them know like, am I on the guest list, because it's really a fancy club, you know, some really good DJs playing there, or just a very expensive club maybe. So everything is just a little bit more fancy, and also therefore I thought, you know, you've got to have a bar which you've got to sign up for, sort of, because, and also there you can give away your code and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it didn't really work out. So in the end, I decided to put it this way. First, I wanted to have the elevator just end up immediately like in front of the bar, but then I thought, you know, maybe you've got to go to the left, or the service desk, it's more sort of like that. But then I thought, you know, maybe people can just walk to the left, and then at the right side there is a bar, a regular bar, where you can get some drinks, because that's what I wanted to add as well. Here I'm adding some posters, which I thought would look cool, because that's like the marketing poster sort of for some artists and DJs who were playing in the nightclub. But yeah, it just didn't really look that good, so I just removed them. Even though it's realistic, it just didn't look good, so I removed it. Of course, you need music in a nightclub, so I added that, even though the music is not going to be too loud in this part of the building yet. Still, it needs to be there, because people are in the mood for music when they get there, so they just want music. I'm sure about that, or at least from my own experience, I guess. Here we've got a bar. I just added that vegetable sign because it just looked cool, and I thought, okay, they're not going to order any vegetable there, but I thought, you know, maybe some hipster smoothies with vegetables in it, and then people can choose what they want. I just thought it would look cool. And here I just found out about another item, like a candle, which I never used, but then I thought, you know, the lighting it creates is really cool, so I added it all around the building on every table. And yeah, I just saw that back, and I was like, okay, that's typical for how I build. I see an object and I just want to add it all over the place, because I think it fits well. I really like the color combination of that pink and that white and that industrial color, but yeah, it was a little bit too pink in my opinion. Pink is really not my color, but yeah, it just looks sort of cool in combination with those other colors. It's not the most ugly type of pink, even though it is very pink purple. But for those of you who did like it, I'm adding it somewhere else in the building, because I thought, you know, I shouldn't make every part of the building the same. So I went for something different, and yeah, it turned out pretty cool. And in the end, I went for a white carpet, which really looked cool as well. When I found that one, I was like, okay, perfect. This one looks much better and is much more neutral as well. So here I'm going crazy with some waterfall behind the bar. I really went crazy with the interior, in my opinion, because I really came up with some ideas which are sort of special. I've really come up with them myself, never seen anyone do them, and it really showed me how you can, with this game, really be much more creative than you might actually think. Sometimes I feel very limited, especially when I've just built something in SketchUp. Some of you might have seen any videos of me in that. It's much more realistic. You can literally shape anything yourself. Therefore, if you want to shape something yourself, it just takes much more time, but you have much more freedom, and then The Sims feels limited. But with these kinds of things, it does really look cool, and you can just come up with some crazy structures yourself, which I think is just very cool about The Sims. And yeah, you've got many options which I wouldn't initially think about, sort of. So here I added that fish tank, water tank behind the bar, and then added the bar, like the drinks in front of it. Just created a really cool effect. And here we've got some split leveling, so you can look down onto the bar from upstairs. I thought it was just cool. And yeah, you know, it's a little bit realistic, because, you know, nightclubs are sort of big buildings and commercial buildings, so then often you've got split leveling just to make it feel bigger. And yeah, that's what I did over here as well. I did notice at the end, when I nearly finished the building, that I didn't add very many toilets. I did add them, but I initially had in mind another place for toilets to be as well, but I just didn't really keep that in mind for the rest of the designing part, sort of, and then I just added something different there. So yeah, I'm sorry, you can add them yourself. Of course, we've got an entire level downstairs as well, which I'm not furnishing because it's just not actually a level. There are no windows, but yeah, you'll see it in a second that I'm working on it, because I'm changing this dance floor into a glass dance floor, and that will actually be the last thing I do in this episode. But yeah, that glass dance floor actually has got lost, so you see down on the level below it. But yeah, you'll see how that continues in the next episode. So thank you very much for watching this 5th one, and make sure that you'll check out the last episode of this Let's Build a Nightclub series. And then I thank you for watching this, and I hope to see you back later.